Welcome to the first installment of my year-end list. Today we are going to be listening to some of the underrated albums, the underrated classics we got this year. The favorite ones of mine will pop up on the eventual top 50 albums list, which is coming sooner than later. But anyway, let's just move straight in because I have a lot of projects that I want to show you guys that not many people have talked about this year. So let's get in! This album honestly feels like the hole in my heart for that really hardcore Dillinger Escape Plan music that was lost with me when I was just discovering metal. It's come back, cause my god, this album's amazing. I recommend this album to any Dillinger Escape Plan fan. Plan fan? Let's just say Depp fan. What's a Depp fan? Who cares? As you can see, the underground metal scene is going to pop up quite a bit on this list because this one, it's a straight basic metal project. It is exactly what you'd expect when you hear something like that as a title, and I recommend this to anyone who does not want to be surprised, yet wants to be surprised a bit by their metal. Imagine the Talking Heads and Bring Me the Horizon on the same stage, playing to the same set of fans, but it doesn't suck? Okay, I recommend this to anyone who spent way too much time on Richie Music. This album just made me want to punch everything in my room, and I loved it. It's like pure speed. I recommend this to all my speed addicts. Big up. It's like this really cool, very nice, very soothing German folk music. And then every 5 minutes, a black metal band walks in and scares you to death. Can someone remind me how this works? Because I recommend this to... Honestly, I don't even know. If you're a folk fan or a black metal fan, you're gonna hate this. Honestly, I have no jokes for this one because it's just a really good, straightforward IDM project. So honestly, I recommend this to anyone who likes that style of music because I think you'd really enjoy this if you haven't already listened to it. Okay, so imagine that folk metal project that I talked about a few entries ago, but now the black metal band it's just long gone and now it's in Spain. And it still doesn't suck. I recommend this to the folk fans, mainly as compensation for trying to get you towards that one. And to my black metal fans, consider this one a bit of a compensation, again, for that really weird amalgamation of a folk metal project. With this album, you may mosh, but you'll be moshing in like a way you've never known, considering this might just be the most technical thrash metal album of all time. It's like they've scientifically analyzed you and then decided how they're gonna attack you. I recommend this to anyone who understood what I was saying at that point. Again, I really don't have anything much to say about this in terms of jokes, because I think that I recommend this generally to anyone who's tired of the modern country scene and you just want to listen to something new in country music that's still relatively country. Because yeah, I think this was a pretty solid indie country album. The album cover perfectly describes the album, both its negatives and positives. Take of that what you will. I recommend this to anyone who likes anime even in the slightest. Right, okay. So, you know how whenever someone's talking about power metal and things like Steve Vai, they're using the words guitar wankery? This is that album, but like you take away all the distortion, and then the drummer does not know what he's going in for. The guitarist has no idea what key we're in. And again, how does this sound good? Like, it sounds like a really cool, like, free jazz project when in reality it's just two men, probably in their mid-30s, just going at each other with no purpose in life. I recommend this to my people who have no purpose in life. Honestly, symphonic metal might just be the genre that, like, if anything, I will always enjoy some of it, if not all of it. But yeah, this is just a really solid symphonic metal project, which you can see because it's landed here. I recommend this to a person who likes classical music and moshing, and you'll be surprised how much those two cross over. So imagine the Avalanches and their plunderphonic selves, and collaborations with low-era David Bowie. And again, it doesn't sound bad. In fact, I'd say it actually makes sense, in my head at least. So I recommend this to anyone who has probably listened to There quite a bit. This is just terrifying. This album was a scary first listen. Like, incredibly effective at what it's trying to do. So I recommend this to someone who likes to be scared and who likes to feel uncomfortable when listening or appreciating their art. That Talking Heads Bring Me the Horizon tour is starting to get very good. I recommend this now to fans of both of those bands, because I actually think this does what that previous project was trying to do way better. So that Lingua Ignota project was getting a lot of hype when it dropped. And honestly, this album is that album, but you've taken a bit of the abrasiveness out of it, which sure makes that Lingua Ignota album. But for those who don't like the abrasiveness but were still looking into that genre, I'd say this is a perfect middle ground between both of those. Again, I have nothing for this one purely because it's just a basic, just really straightforward, good post-rock project. I recommend this to any person who's a fan of that genre in any form. Overall, this project might have been a bit average, but oh boy, that first song. That is really good. If anything, I recommend this to anyone who wants a 10-minute opus of an opener on any of their albums. This is just a pretty straightforward math rock project, but I recommend this to anyone who's feeling tired of listening to the exact same three Polyphia songs on repeat, and the Japanese stuff is a bit too outside the box for them. Right, so imagine the last industrial project you listened to, except like, again, every 5 minutes, an EDM drop happens. And again, it's not as bad as I describe it. I recommend this to anyone who's been finding even the underground EDM scene a bit too basic. Honestly, this might just be one of my favorite albums from the lot. And again, it's another one of those weird amalgamations that I keep on talking about. Imagine like a Sun O record, but Bjork is singing on it. And it sounds so cool. I love it. Genuinely, I recommend this to any Bjork fan, because you will really love this. RXK Nephew. If you haven't heard of this name, my god, you're missing out. This guy puts out albums like every month, and somehow they're all pretty okay to good. This might be his best album of the entire year, and it sounds like the perfect sweet ground between Lil B, Lil Ugly Mane, and Chief Keef, in terms of the fact that he's spewing violent lyrics, like proper, like stomach-churning lyrics. Yet he's putting out some of the funniest lyrics and the funniest production I've heard this entire year. I genuinely recommend this to any Chief Keef fan or any one of those fans of any of the projects I mentioned, because you will immediately fall in love with this guy. Massive black metal fan, massive doom metal fan, and they meet in paradise with this album, because this was very good. Honestly, if you're a fan of either of those genres, you will really like this one. So a quick side note before this one, I actually listened to Love Deluxe by Sade for the first time this year, and my mind was completely blown with how good that project was. And I felt this was exactly what I needed at that point, because this is just some really good, really symphonic sophistopop that I think you would really like. Honestly, this is that Korean punk project, just that now it's Australian. So I guess a shout out to all my fans of Victoria Bitter who are watching this video. I don't even know why I said that. I'm 16 and I've not even had a single drop. I don't know why I said that. Let's just move on. Honestly, I do not know about how old and how legendary this French house duo was, because I've just not explored that genre enough, and I seem to really like this album. So again, I recommend this to anyone who knows who the fuck these people are. I am fully on the Nala Sinefro hype train. This is one of my favorite jazz albums of the year, and it is a great 8-part sweep of just some great jazz. Honestly, this reminds me a lot of that Floating Points project, so if you really like that, I think you should watch this one, because this one is also extremely good. I do not like K-pop, and I really like this EP. My god, this was a surprise. This was a massive surprise. I really like this. I genuinely recommend this to everyone, because even K-pop haters, because I'm not a hater, I just don't like how overproduced most of it is. I genuinely like this. I think you would really like it if you listen to it, because it's just some really well crafted pop music. And finally, what might be my favorite underrated album of the year is one not to be reproduced by the Burbs. This is like Kevin Abstract, but with Kendrick Lamar's lyrics. And I'm not like, that's a very high bar, by the way. But my lord, this was really good. Okay, so the creators of this album are actually very active on Rate Music. Like, their Rate Music accounts are very highly followed. They continue to review music to this day. So yeah, imagine a rap project from them, except the content is the race relations in America between the black and the white people. And I really like this. Like, this was a standout out of all of these projects. And I recommend this to anyone who likes Kendrick Lamar's music as much as me, because you will find something from this. The production's great. The artists are just really, they flow, man. And the beats are insane as well. And with that, we conclude 2021 in terms of underrated music. Check out tomorrow, where you will see my top 50 songs of the year. Peace.